right, let's dive in right now to the personal section. And I'm really excited about this because I literally am hours away from boarding a plane to go back and see my son, Luke, who's graduating from Davidson College here this weekend. And as you listen to this episode, he will have just graduated. So it will be already over by the time you listen. But I wanted to share. And why is because, well, for several reasons. Number one, Brett Rypien has become in many ways a mentor and friend to Luke. And with the one snap away mentality that Brett has, I know Luke's got the same mentality, but bigger than football, it's kind of surreal. It's kind of crazy that when you think back as parents, for those of you who have kids or someday will have kids, how time flies. Time flies. And I promised that I'm not going to get emotional in this little personal share, but I promise you that when he started college in 2021, just 4 years ago, it feels like yesterday. The year was 2021. When I dropped him off, as I've shared in my book, True Strength, my back was a wreck. And I couldn't even go check him into his room because I had to stay in the hotel because my back was in such pain. I was months into a debilitating back injury. I just had my second knee replacement. I was in a new relationship with Fitness Quest 10 and what that meant. And I, in so many ways, felt lost because of the pain, because the physical pain gets in your head and then your head gets in your pain. And it's this loop. And I've talked about this loop of how do you break the pain-fear loop. The pain-fear loop. When you're in pain, it creates fear. When you're in fear, it creates pain. And it's a loop that you got to break because some people live in it all the time for the rest of their life. And I've been preaching on this forever. But in many ways, back in 2021, 4 years ago, I felt like the world had collapsed, but I couldn't really describe it. And I certainly didn't talk about it. I was just trying to figure it out between back and business, my second year placement. I felt lost. And in so many ways, Luke, who was just starting off as a wide-eyed, bushy-tailed freshman at college, gave me life. And I just wrote a note to him. You know, it's kind of I'm not going there, but it kind of was like his last helmet note. Even though he's not playing a game this weekend, it was kind of like a last helmet note because when I think about all the highlights and even lowlights of 4 years, I want y'all to think about for you, even reflect back 4 years ago. I think about Luke and I have some universal principles at the end, but I think football and the highlights there and graduating with like a 3.8 GPA and ROTC because in order to go to Davidson, I said, I'm not paying $80,000 a year to go there when you got scholarships elsewhere. He's like, well, I'll go then ROTC. I'm like, good, then go ROTC. And he did. And what am I most proud of? What I'm most proud of is in the 1 year, his junior year, he persevered through a ton of adversity. And it was really hard, really hard. It's hard to go through it. I sometimes think it's harder as a parent to watch someone go through it because I'd rather walk through it myself. I'd rather experience the pain myself. And I don't know if anyone can relate to that, especially if you're a parent. You'd rather go through the pain than seeing your son or daughter go through it, but you know they have to go through it in order to grow on that. And it's not what I'm most proud of. It's not the TDs thrown. It's that he persevered through the hell. And he persevered through not playing. And when he was benched in his junior year, even as a parent and as a coach, and not agreeing with how it was handled necessarily, Luke and I talked 2 or 3 times a day for months on end. And I continue to remind him about you're one snap away. You're one snap away. You're one snap away. And we thought and talked about all the things that help you get through the day. And that included, hey, do you transfer at the end of the semester? Like nowadays, you just, when things don't go right, you transfer. And that was a discussion, but something he ultimately chose not to do. Do you stay and persevere? And who knows what happens? And you know what? In hindsight, looking back over 4 or 5 months of hell, he doubled down on his ROTC and he got serious with ROTC. He doubled down on his future and his career. Instead of always talking about football, we now talked about life. We talked about school. We talked about things that wasn't the common conversation for, well, since he's been in 6th grade and his dream and goal was to be a football player. And yeah, we talked about other things, but it really was predominant around football. And long story short, Luke decided to not only stay at Davidson, he decided he was going to be an Army JAG attorney. Yeah, an Army JAG attorney. I'm like, well, I don't know if I can help you there, but tell me about it. And I knew that would require a ton of studying for the LSATs in the middle of going through all this. When he was on winter break and he came home, he spent about 5-6 hours a day studying on the break of his junior year after the season that was tumultuous. And then that meant also studying all spring because he was back to compete for the starting job in the spring of his senior year on that so that he could take the LSATs. And that's what he did. He took this time of adversity and challenge, great challenge. And I remember myself, like, why do I have such angst about it or even anxiety about this? Because I can't control it, right? I, as a parent, can't control it. He had to walk through it. And you know what? Not only did he walk through it, he persevered through it and ended up crushing the LSAT. He went to Army boot camp last summer for 40 days. That was boot camp. And he crushed it, became in the top 5% of the Army boot camp. He ended up getting his ed delay so he could delay the entry into the Army to go to law school. And he got in a bunch and he just decided that he's going to the University of South Carolina to be a Gamecock this coming August. He'll be a Gamecock. And you know what's interesting about it? His senior year, he conducted himself like a captain would, like a military young man would, and he led the team. And unfortunately, the other quarterback got hurt the first game of the season, and Luke was inserted. And play he did. Played his absolute tail off, but with such a different mentality. Loved his boys. He played for the boys, and he's got some great young men around him, teammates and friends for life. And other than a separated shoulder that he got from running this dang triple option offense that used to be at Davidson, now it's Gonzo, 1 year too late. It kept him out 2 games of his senior year. He started all the other games. And he ended his senior year looking back with, man, what a 4-year journey. Because you don't know the ups and downs. When you get to college, you get to the pros. Like, there's so many ups and downs, and we have dreams and aspirations. But sometimes you get thrown just different things you can't control. But how you control that adversity or how you handle that adversity is everything. It's everything. And I'm most proud of that, is looking back of not the touchdowns thrown or made ESPN one time on a double flea flicker touchdown his senior year. Like, cool. It's how he handled months and months of adversity. And while he had a good relationship with his head coach, it was really about how he handled his junior year and going through it and how he used that to really propel him into what's going to be his next 40 years. As an Army JAG attorney or as an attorney after the Army 4-year commitment is over after law school. But as I get ready to board a plane tomorrow, I know it's going to be an emotional weekend. I know that. And I'm really, really proud of the past 4 years. And he's going to go on and go to law school, and then he'll go and into the Army and be a JAG attorney. And he's going to serve 4 years and serve our great country. And I told him, and like he's going to read in his last helmet note this weekend, is it's all because of the discipline, the hard work, and the mindset to have one snap away. You're one snap away from getting back in the game. You keep working on Saturdays and Sundays. You keep doing things that no one else is doing because you know inside of you what's made of you, and I know what's made of you because I never gave up belief in him, because every one of us needs someone else to believe in us, because sometimes it's other people who believe in you or believe in me more than I believe in me, or someone else believes in themselves. And that's part of my role. And as a coach is to help people to believe in themselves, sometimes more they believe in themselves. Can I get an amen to anybody? Because that is the truth. All of us, with that mindset, you're one snap away. What's it like to sit on the sidelines and wait? It's horrible. Has anyone else ever had to sit on the sideline and wait for a year or 4 or 5 or never even make it on the other side? And hey, parents, if that's you and you're watching your daughter or your son, I know how hard it is. Maybe they're not the star athlete. They don't need to be. There's a much bigger picture here on this, but I know you parents can empathize because not everyone has the star student athlete on there, and even if they do, there's always someone else out there, right? That could take their job, or they're destined for the next level. That's cool. But the character and traits that we learn Man, let me tell you, there's a few things I would say for any one of us, myself included. Continue to work your tail off. That's number one. Number two, keep the faith. Keep the faith. Fortitude, attitude, integrity, trust, and humility. Fortitude, attitude, trust, and humility. I talked last week on the podcast about integrity, doing what is right when no one else is watching. Are you doing what is right when no one else is watching? Only you can do the mirror test, and I can answer that question, because when Tom Campanaro said that last week, like, that's an important question. And he said that we have an integrity issue in this country. Now, I know not you or me may have that, but how do we instill more integrity in our young men and women? And heck, even in us older men and women, right? Like, I'm getting thirsty, getting preaching on this here. But keep the faith. Even when some people around you, including sometimes even your coaches, lose faith in you. If there's a coach that loses faith in you, don't lose faith in yourself. I know how many times we as athletes or players can put our trust in a coach. When they lose their faith in you, you better find someone to make sure that you have around you that can remind you of what you do and why you do it. And number three, lastly, there's always something greater waiting for you. Keep going. Keep going, man. Keep going. Don't ever give up. It goes back to what I said with our nightly routine going back 22 years now, and what I established with our kids back in the day. And for you parents who have not yet done this, regardless of the kid's age, if they're young, definitely start now. If they're, elementary, middle, or high school, start it. It's okay. Is I would go in that room every darn night, and I'd say, we're the Durkins. We always do our best and we never give up. We're the Durkins. We always do our best. We never give up. Keep going in the hard times, because I've always said this, there's going to be a hard time coming up. And guess what? That ain't going to be the last one that Luke faces, or that I face, or that you face. They're always going to be there. But that mentality to keep going, and when you're surrounded with a band of brothers and or sisters around you, there's always something greater waiting for you. There's always something greater waiting for you. And ultimately, though, that one snap away mentality is one that must be kept when you're playing every play and things are great, or you're riding the bench, riding pine, as they say. You're riding pine and you're like, man, I know I'm destined for more. I know that I have more in me. If they only gave me a chance, if they only knew, or if I could only get healthy, or if I could only do this. Keep going. It's all going to be okay. And there's always a bigger game than the actual game. Play the big game. Play the big game. Hey, Luke, I'm proud of you, man. And I can't believe this chapter's coming to a close. And I must say, I'm so excited for the next phase as well. And my friends, today, I hope this one snap away mentality is something that you use this week, this month, and for the rest of 2025 and beyond. You're one snap away, that one snap away mentality, that one pitch away, that one moment away mentality is going to get you really far in life. That's a wrap, my friend. It's time to board up the plane for Davidson, North Carolina, and put this 4-year chapter to bed and give this young man a big old hug. I thank you. I'll be on social media. You want to hit me up, follow me, DM me, take a picture, please, if you enjoyed today's episode